So yeah, it was a bit messed up like on my side. I was trying to find a Zoom link and yeah, so I just found the Zoom link, so I shared that.
Gotcha.
So yeah, so my screen is clear to you.
Yes, you look good. Yep.
Oh, thanks. Same here.
Cool.
Okay. So yeah, so on this live stream today we will talking about the UniFi gateway. So that's an interesting topics. Like
Yep. There's a lot of gateways
okay,
now.
yeah, there are lots of gateway and it's quite confusing. Like if you see, there there are a lot of gateways available in the Ubiquity India, or as well as all the stores. But if you check the Ubiquity India store, they're still giving you the old gateways. I'm not sure they are not changing the UI and all those stuffs.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, if you check the stores, you will see the old gateways still like the Dream, your base UDM,
Yep.
the Dream machine, and most of them are out of stock.
Yep.
Yeah,
Interesting.
so
Yeah.
basically, so in this stream, we will talk about the two things. Like for example, uh, where when you say the unified gateways, so that there are two different things. One is a unified cloud gateways, and one is a unified gateways, which is a standalone gateway. So there
Yep.
are quite confusion in the market. Like when they say they have a unified cloud gateways, so the cloud gateway is basically they have all the unified applications. Some have a unified network only, and most of them have all the applications. They run all in one. They run on the unified OS.
Yep.
So basically, now they are targeting for like small home users to enterprise. They have the like they are targeting all the customers, like from home user to
Yeah.
medium size businesses. And so right now on my desk, if you see, I have let me show you. I have this one, the Unify Express.
UniFi Express. Yep.
Yeah, I'm making a video on this and it's still editing. So once it is available, I will put down on my channel. So this is the smallest ubiquity router right now they have. In the similar form factor, they have a UXD Lite.
UXG
So there
Lite.
are
Yep.
difference in the UXD Lite and the Unify Express. So basically, the Unify Express has Unify access point inbuilt. They have Wi-Fi, and they don't need any cloud keys or controllers to run on the networks. That's a huge difference. So I think you also have this on your network.
Yes, I do have a UniFi Express. And it's really nice because it does mesh with like I think 4 or 5 other ones, so they can kind of just work
Yeah.
together into a mesh network. And that's something the
Yes.
UXG Lite does not do, like you said. It does not have built-in Wi-Fi. And the UniFi
Yes.
Express has like control features kind of all built in compared to the UniFi UXG Lite, which doesn't have that. Just basically is a router and a firewall.
Correct. So basically, I have a UXG Lite also, and it is on my rack, so I can show that. But the only difference on the UXG Lite you will see, it does not have that 0.96
Yep.
LCM screen. And the specification difference you will see, it does not have any Wi-Fi on it. It
Okay.
has a Wi-Fi 6. And the other difference, like the CPU and memory, is quite similar because these two gateways, if you hear from the Ubiquity, they does not support cyber secure proof point.
Mm-hmm.
They have add-on features, and they does not support like most. I think so. Yeah, that's the only thing difference I've seen. But I think uh, m- also due to the lack of CPU and memory, if you run the VPN on it and those things, it feel quite slow. If you run on
Mm-hmm.
WireGuard VPN and Open VPN, you will see it test the speed. So you will feel a bit sluggish on the VPN network due to the weak CPU as well as a memory.
Yep.
But uh, as a form factor of this gateway router, it's quite tiny, and you see how they have put all those stuffs like the chips and all those. So it's quite amazing. They are doing good work on that.
Yeah, they are, and it's
And
great for home applications, I would say, where they want something a little bit smaller. They don't need it to be rack mounted. They can kind of just have like an all-in-one device that can kind of just do
Yeah,
everything you need to, but still run that
yeah,
UniFi software that people really like.
yeah. Also, the one thing I would say about this, you can carry this as a travel router. You can use this as a travel router when you're moving from your place to and you're booking Airbnb and everything. So you
Yep.
can have this as a plug and play. So it's very easy, and you can have a teleport VPN also on that. You can connect to the Site Magic VPN. So that's a good thing on this router. Also, the bigger form factor after this is come a UCG Ultra, UCG Max.
And
So
I
yeah,
do have one of
I
those
have
as well.
yeah,
Yep.
I have UCG Ultra. So here is a
Yep.
UCG Ultra, and you can see the differences on both the router, and it just have one WAN and one LAN, but it has uh lots of ports.
Yep.
Like 4 ports, and one of the port is remappable. You can set as either LAN or WAN 2. So that's also good, and it is targeting for a small home user also, and the
Hmm.
medium sized business where you don't have like the 1 gig and all those connections.
Yep.
But the best thing, it has 2.5G on the WAN. So
Yeah.
yeah.
And that's the
Also, yeah.
the Cloud Gateway Max. The other version does have 2.5 gig on
Yes.
all the ports. So,
Yeah, the only difference in the on this and the Cloud Gateway Max is like the UXG Lite and the UniFi Express.
yep.
The Cloud Gateway Max has all the, I mean the UXG Max, sorry, the UXG Max
Hmm.
has all the same specs, everything. But the UXG Max needs is a standalone router. It's need either cloud key or hosted controller to manage it.
Yeah.
But this run itself unifies only the UniFi network as well as the inner space. If you see,
Hmm.
it does not run all the applications. And the other one is a UCG Max, which got a slot of NVMe SSD.
Yep.
Yeah. So under that you can run, I think, UniFi product and the UniFi access also.
Yep, and I do have that set up and it works really well. I got the
Yeah.
512 gig SSD version and it does like at least a month of recording for just one camera that I have on there, which is really nice. So,
Okay. It's 4K camera or the 2K camera?
uh, it's a 2K camera. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that will give around 1 month.
Yep.
So you're using continuous motion recording, correct?
Yep. Yeah, it's really nice. So I like the 2.5 gig Ethernet on all the ports. It's I kind of like it for a travel router too because if I have multiple 2.5 gig devices, it kind of functions as a 2.5 gig switch as well because I can plug them all into the router. But I also
Hmm.
do get the uplink. I do get the remappable port, I believe, that I can switch to have two different WAN connections if I'm traveling, which is cool.
Yeah. I think that's a good thing. You can upgrade up to 2 TB, I think.
Yep.
They so there is a catch. Like you should get I mean, you should get without NVMe slot, but you can later on upgrade and put your own SSD.
Yep.
So it will be very cost effective for you.
Yeah. Yeah, I got the 512 gig option just because they didn't have any of the no storage options in stock when I wanted it. But
Yeah,
I mean, it's still okay.
if you check the stores, the no storage option is always out of the stock, and it's quite cheaper as compared to the other one, 5 and 12 GB, 1 TB and 2 TB.
We have a comment here from Trex Media that asks if the UXG Lite or UniFi Express is better for a home lab.
Uh, I would say it depends. Like if you have a cloud key on your network, if you
Yeah,
have a UniFi controller running on a hosted platform, then you should get the UXG Lite. But if you don't want to, if you don't have a cloud key and all those UniFi controller, you can go for the UniFi Express. And the benefit of getting UniFi Express, you don't need to purchase a access point on that
yeah,
because it has inbuilt Wi-Fi on it. And both the 2.4 and the 5 gigahertz both has 2 into 2 MIMO.
yep. And I think for only $20 more, the UniFi Express really isn't that bad because you get
Yeah,
that
yeah,
Wi-Fi,
no,
you get all the extra features too
yeah.
for just $20 more.
Yeah, when it was first launched, everyone was comparing the price and saying it's costly, but they are not checking about this how extra features it provides from the
Mm-hmm.
UX light.
Yeah. Uh, Trex Media also asked how it compares with the Edge Router, and I'd say they're both pretty similar to the Edge Router. You just can't manage
Yeah,
the Edge Router as easily, but in terms of
yes.
performance, it's about the same.
Yeah. Also, one thing I have to add on this. So, uh, this is pretty straightforward devices. You have to just plug in, and it's very easy. Like, you don't need to have any setup. Like to set up the edge router, you have to set up LAN one, LAN two. Like the setup, you must have some networking knowledge on that.
Yeah.
For example, so you can set up that. Like, if it is in a bridge mode or something, so in that way, for convenient, I would say the UniFi Express and the UXG Lite is pretty easy as compared to the Edge router line. So Edge router
Yeah.
line is very good one. I mean, still most of them use in their ISP.
Yeah. Yeah, I have an Edge Router. It's really nice, but like you said, it's a lot harder to set up and a lot harder to manage just because it's not on that UniFi network platform. And I would still recommend like the UniFi Express or the UXG Lite for a home lab use because it'll be a lot easier to set up, a lot easier to maintain. You can get notifications for things without having to have like a UISP server if you have a cloud key already. So the UniFi Express, in my opinion, is better for a home lab.
Yeah. Yesterday I was just scrolling the LinkedIn account and there was one guy, like the security guy, and I'm not sure about that, but he has a ton of Cisco Catalyst switches in the Cisco router and the MikroTik switches also.
Mm-hmm.
And above the rack, he has this UniFi Express also. As a, and but he didn't mention on the post, so I just commented, "You have UniFi Express too." So he told, "Yeah, it is for the home lab."
Ah,
And because it has a Wi-Fi on it, so that's a good feature on that.
Trex Media asked if the UniFi Express has SNMP. I don't think it does, but I might be wrong.
Uh, I think within the UniFi controller you have SNMP features,
Okay,
but is it for the cloud? I mean, is it for the access point or something? Let me double check on the UniFi. If I
yeah,
check for the UXC Pro and the settings, yeah, it has under the advanced feature. It
okay,
has SNMP features. Yeah, so I think that will be the similar for the UniFi Express as well as the
yep,
yeah. So apart from that, so the thing is like the confusion is what UniFi gateway you should get when you are looking to in the UniFi lineup.
mm-hmm,
So it depends on the requirement. How many clients do you want to connect, like the
yep,
Wi-Fi and the wired? So depending on the CPU and the memory. So if you're looking for the UniFi console, like all-in-one applications, like you should go, I would say the for even for the home user who is very tech savvy and who need a good internet connectivity and the all the features like other gateways, they should start with the UDM Pro. I think
yep,
it's a I mean, when you rack mounted, it has a UniFi Protect also on it. Runs you can put a hard disk on it to
yep,
run the UniFi Protect, and you can utilize all the switch ports on it. So that's I mean, for the starting, either you can just go with the UniFi Express and all those, but
mm-hmm,
later on, I would say you can just upgrade to the UDM Pro. That will be the good purchase for it. And they're still providing all those features on the UDM Pro because it gives you complete solutions. You don't need to, if you want to host camera, you can just get a UniFi camera and put on it. But
yeah,
also the good thing, right now they support the third-party cameras, so existing camera, you can use a third-party cameras from the other brand like the Hikvision, the Hua,
yep.
Reolink, and all those. So that's a good thing.
Yeah, and I think, I mean, I've had the UDM Pro for a couple of years now, and it's still getting updates, which is really cool. It's still supported by UniFi. I think they can support it for a lot longer just because of how powerful it is. They're not going to run out of
Yeah.
CPU or whatever anytime soon.
Yes.
And speaking of that, they also have a capacity calculator on their website, and I'll put that on the screen
Yep.
here. So you can
Yeah,
actually
that's a
go,
quite good feature. Yep.
yeah. and you can essentially just try and see like kind of how much resources you can have on the UDM before you max it out. So like here you'll see I'm up to like 75 access points. We're only at 44% CPU. So maybe we can turn on protect here. We can add a couple 2K cameras. And we still have some room here. It's only at 71%. So we could add more for
Yeah.
UniFi Talk or UniFi Access. But it's really cool because ahead of time, before you buy it, you can actually try it out and see. They have a bunch of consoles on here now with the UCG Max, even the NVRs, the UDM Pro Max, all kinds of options on here that you can actually try it ahead of time before you purchase it. And
Yes. Also, the other good things like right now it support like redundancy, like with
yeah,
the shadow mode. So that's a good thing. If you have a UDM Pro on your network and you want to have a high availability, you
mm-hmm.
can get one other UDM Pro and set up. It's a very easy shadow mode. I think you have done on your channel, and
Yes,
even I have done on
yep,
my channel the shadow mode, and it's quite good feature. But uh, at first there was some issues like it was not doing manually. I mean, automatically it was not.
mm-hmm. Failing over.
Yeah, failover from the UDM Pro, first UDM Pro, the second UDM Pro. But after few updates, it's got stable and now it is working without any issues.
Yeah, it runs pretty solidly. It's really nice to have that automatic failover, and even during updates and stuff, I've noticed that sometimes it does failover too. That way, it doesn't like cut your internet off during an update.
Yes.
So I like having that feature available, especially for like sites that really need that uptime. Especially if you have dual WANs, it kind of makes sense because you can have dual routers then too, and then, um, yeah, it's really,
I think
I really like that failover.
in my video when I tested it almost when I have switched down, I mean power of the first UDM Pro,
Hmm.
and it almost time out to only 3 to 4 pings, and then it's fail over to the new UDM Pro. And the best
Nice.
thing is like you get the UniFi Protect and all those stuff also, even if
Yeah.
the hard disk is still on the primary UDM Pro. So
Yep.
you won't get I mean the recordings is still saved there. So that's a good features.
It is. And even for like Unified Talk, like if that console, the first console goes down, you go to the second one, Unified Talk still works, which is really cool.
Yeah. I mean
So
it is all for applicable for all the applications which you have on the Unified. The thing is like you have to install all the app on it. It has to be installed, I
yeah.
think, on both the consoles. Otherwise it won't fail over. So I've seen these issues. When customer was reporting that issues, it didn't fail over from the primary UDM Pro in the high availability mode. When I checked the configuration and they checked the console, the application was not installed on it. So
Ah,
that's why it didn't fail over.
yep.
So that little bit thing you have to take a look into that. Also, I think you are using UDMSC or the UDM Pro on your network. I think I've seen your last video on it.
It's UDM Pro. Yeah.
UDM Pro. It's on a high availability, correct?
Not here, but at another site, yes, it is. So
Yeah. And then we come for after that, like we have other UDMSC. Is it? I mean,
yeah,
little bit difference from the UDM Pro. And the best thing is it has a PoE ports, like the
yeah,
four PoE plus port and the other four are the PoE. And it gives you power budget of 180 watt. So
yep.
that's a good thing. Like you don't need to purchase a separate switch when you have a small network, like 2 to 3 access point, two to
Right.
three cameras. That's a good deal for it.
Yep. And it also supports over 1,000 clients, is what it says,
Yeah.
which is cool. So it's a little bit more capacity there. And also, it does have a 128 gigabyte SSD built in for NVR detection recordings. So I think you can just run UniFi Protect just with the SSD. I might be wrong. Um,
Uh, I think I think we can, but I've seen that there are lots of issues on that.
okay.
So they don't recommend to use that on that SSD.
Uh-huh. Okay, never
And
mind.
they get yeah, we got some questions. What?
Oh yeah, we do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I use MikroTik a lot. I have MikroTik switches here. I think there's still certain types of switches that UniFi doesn't have yet that I like from MikroTik. So like I have a MikroTik switch that basically has SFP plus in, but then there's like PoE on a couple ports with 2.5 gig on them. and then a couple of
Hmm.
1 gig ports. So like that kind of stuff is something that Ubiquiti doesn't necessarily have yet. I mean, they do now with the 2.5 gig switches, but they didn't at the
Yeah.
time. So that's why I have a MikroTik.
I
And you can
mean,
also kind of
you,
do more advanced features with them.
yeah.
Like you could do BGP. Now you can do it on a lot of UniFi switches, but
Yep.
they had some of those features before UniFi did, which is why I use MikroTik a lot. Especially in my office before they had the rack-mounted 16 port switch, I had a MikroTik 8-port switch with 2.5 gig on it, just because UniFi did not have one, or at least have one for a lower cost.
Yeah, I think now if you check the new lineup of the switch name as Pro SD, they have all everything on the 2.5G. Even they are giving PoE plus plus. That's the
Yeah.
new PoE method. They, I think that's a 802.3 BT standard like thing. So
Mm-hmm.
BT4 or something. And even they are giving you the non PoE as well as the PoE. Also, the good thing, like
Make
we
your browser
have talked about it on the last live, the switches, like recently they have launched the light switches, the flex switches,
Mm-hmm.
which got the SFP port on it. That's a good thing.
Yeah.
And I think it's launched currently.
Yeah, I think that the addition of the SFP port is really nice because for me at least, I really like having a fast backbone up to like my core switches because I don't want to have like I don't want to run out of bandwidth on certain switches and stuff. So like I really do like having that available speed. And
Yeah,
I'm not using 10 gigs all the time, but for that burst throughput or if I'm doing a speed test or something, I want to be able to run that speed test but still have all the normal traffic go through at the same time.
yes, exactly. So that's a benefit of the 10 gig, like SFP plus port. If you
Hmm.
can utilize it. I don't have a 10 gig bandwidth on my network, but I'm
Yeah.
still using on the aggregation switches
Right.
using the DAC cable with the DAC cable.
Yeah,
I
I don't
would all.
have
I mean,
10 gig internet.
yeah, I'm too. It's very costly here. I mean, it's not feasible here. You
Hmm.
you can't get because it's a like a small network
Yeah.
from the. I'm getting from the local ISP, not even from the bigger guy in the ISP because the network is not reliable here.
Gotcha. Yeah.
You you get what you paid for. So right now on my network, I'm getting around 500 Mbps up and down. So that's quite good for me
Yeah.
because I'm not paying much speed on that. I mean, for that price point, I'm not paying that much amount.
Right.
It's and after the UDMSC, they have recently, I mean, last year they have launched the UDM Pro Max also.
Yeah.
That was well, quite impressive. I've seen most user use that which have a capacity of 5,000 clients. It can, I think, handle 5,000 plus clients.
Wow. Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, that's definitely for more of a bigger business, I would say, that would utilize those features
Yeah,
probably. Um,
exactly. But some of the home users still uses on the network. Like
yep.
recently, uh, I've helped one of our customer who has a, I mean, it's for his home. He was
Yeah.
redoing all the network stuff and he got a UDM Pro Max and he got a UNVR because the UDM Pro Max has a two SSD storage, I mean, a hard disk
Yeah.
storage, but still he got the UNVR and he got the Pro HD switch and he got all the U7 Pro Max and U7 wall those overkill, I think you can say, or
Right.
that's for his network. But I think it's very addictive. Once you are in the UniFi
Yeah.
ecosystem, you don't see.
Yeah, and I think for him, like, it's with all of this new equipment, it looks new and expensive now, but I think it'll last a long time too. Like, it's
Yeah,
really future proof. The 2.5 gig on the access points, like, you're not going to necessarily get up to that 2.5 gig probably anytime soon, but that capacity is there for future expansion because maybe things get higher bandwidth in the future. You have that extra capacity there. That's something that's really nice about UniFi. They seem to support their devices for quite a long time. Well, most devices at least, but um, when they do support it, it's really nice because it really does last like really long time. Like I've still
I
got
think, yeah,
some access points that are like super old access points, but they still work on UniFi network and they work fine.
yes, they're still on 4.3.28 firmware version,
Yeah.
and it's a EOL end of life, but they're still working.
Yeah.
I have one AP LR and the UniFi AP, the older one, Gen 1 AP.
Oh, yep. I have a AC light access point. I two
Yeah,
of them
I
actually.
do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have two in my one in my shop and one in my home. They're quite good. I mean, they're
Yeah.
quite getting firmware version availability, everything on that.
Hmm. Have you tried any of the new enterprise access points?
Uh yeah, the U6 Enterprise I've tried.
Yeah, I like the U6 enterprise. That's really nice.
Yeah, it's very beefy, and if you like, I have seen that. I've recommended one of my customer who has, I mean, building floors like 5-story buildings,
Hmm.
and he was having network issues on his sites. So he was using U6 light on that. Like per floor, he used three U6 light,
Huh.
and the area, if I guess, it was 1,000 square feet, and he
Huh.
was getting latency issues. So
Interesting.
I recommended him, either you should I mean, for each floor he was having three access point, and each floor the size is 1,000 square feet, and it was a 5-story building. And you can you guess how many access point he has on his sites?
Would that be like 15?
No, it's more than that. He has
More.
18 access point.
Oh my.
I mean, the network was very full. I mean, that there was a lot of interference on the even on the
Yeah.
5 gigahertz, which is a wider
Wow.
bandwidth, channel bandwidth.
Yep.
There was too noisy, and he was getting lots of latency issues. I mean, the ping response was going like 1,000 milliseconds.
Wow.
So I told him, either you do one thing, just drop down the count of access point from 18, just drop down to 12 access point.
Hmm.
It will get resolved. But he was insisting that he won't he don't want to, I mean, stop using those access point. Either you recommend other access point. So I told, per floor you can get one U6 Pro,
Yeah.
that the 5 U6 Pro or the U6 Enterprise. But the price for the U6 Enterprise is quite pricey here
It is.
as compared to the other access point. But it depends everything on the customer, what they are recommending.
Yeah. Yeah, they're the ones that are gonna spend the money on it at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Have you tried the Dream Wall?
Yeah.
You have
I've tried just once.
just one. Yeah.
I mean, it totally depend on the use case where you have to put those devices on the cabinet, like on the wall side.
Yeah.
It's very helpful on that network, but most of them here in India, everyone use on the rack mounted. They prefer the rack mounted
Hmm.
instead of that NEMA box, and
Right.
yeah.
Yeah, I do
But
think
it
though, for like somebody in like the East Coast of the United States or whatever that has those kind of boxes in the wall with all of their Ethernet in it, it does make sense to use a Dream Wall because it'd be a very
yes,
very nice way to cable manage everything and make it all look nice all up in the wall. And I do think it
yes,
has built-in Wi-Fi too, which is really sweet. So
yes.
it's a nice feature as
The
well.
basically it's I mean, built for those customers and market. They are
Yep.
Ubiquity is targeting those customers. Like as you said, on the East Coast, they usually have their wall cabinet,
Yep.
so it's pretty easy to put there and all the Ethernet cable.
Yeah. I think it also has a built-in PoE switch which does
Yes,
430 watts or 20 watts maybe. I don't
yeah.
remember
I
exactly
think
what it
it
is.
has built in. It give
Yeah.
PoE plus output on the
Yeah.
each switch port.
And then the last console is the Enterprise Fortress Gateway, which is
Yeah, it's very beefy. I
$2,000.
think, yeah. Also, as comparison to the standalone gateway, it has a UXG enterprise.
Yeah.
As compared to the EFG Fortress gateway, and you compare with the UXG enterprise, both have similar specs. One run on the UniFi OS, and one run on, either you can run on the official cloud hosting, or you run on the cloud key, or you
Hmm.
run on the Hostify, or your self-host controller. So that's the only difference. And there is also one difference: if you run on your self-hosted controller on Hostify, you won't get those features like the next AI SSL and the
Mm.
TLS decryption features. That
Yeah.
will be missing. So if you get the official UniFi hosting and the UXG enterprise, you will get those features.
Gotcha. I'm surprised. I actually didn't realize the Gateway Enterprise is the same price as the Enterprise Fortress Gateway, but it doesn't have the controller built into it,
Yes.
which is
It's
interesting.
targeting the customer who has cloud key or the
Hmm.
cloud key enterprise, or they it is targeting for them
Yep.
because you don't need to purchase any, because Ubiquiti from starting they have like two routers. One is for the UniFi OS and one is for the standalone. Like
Yeah.
if you compare the UDM Pro, you will compare it with the UXG Pro. One
Yep.
run one run UniFi applications on it, one does not.
Yeah.
So it's a kind of balance they have made. One for the UniFi cloud gateways and one is the cloud keys and gateways.
Which I do like how they still support self-hosting the controller or using Hostify. I think that's something that is nice to give people that option because a lot of people might not want to run everything in one device. Like you think of a lot of ISPs
Yes.
that give you one device that does everything. Some people kind of want to break it out and have multiple devices for just redundancy and like reliability. So I like having
Hmm.
that ability to have the controller separately, the router, switches, all that kind of stuff. You can have it all separate
Because
with UniFi.
yeah, you can controller separately and the router separately. You don't need to rely on that all in one devices.
Yeah, that's really nice.
Yeah. Also, have you tried it? The Enterprise Fortress Gateway and the XG hands-on. Have
I
you
have not
seen
tried
it?
it.
Yeah. But I'm waiting for the Tom Lawrence video because he has done testing and put on the enterprise network, and it was pretty impressive.
Hmm.
He has a good feedback on it. I'm waiting for his video.
Yeah. Yeah, I like his videos. He does a lot of helpful insight on a lot of products
I
for
think
sure.
he just, I mean, he just posted on the community that he has been testing the UXD enterprise on a enterprise customer, and it was giving almost like 73 TB bandwidth
Hmm,
use, and the CPU was also good, and the memory, it's quite impressive. I've seen his post, so he told he will put down a video soon on that,
nice.
the review, I think.
Now Ubiquitous needs to send me one so I can make a review too.
Also, like the in the gateway lineup, I think they are improving day by day with all those features within the software side also, as well as the hardware.
Yeah,
Within the software, they have improved the firewall features like the zone-based firewall, and they have added the add-on features like the cyber secure proof point. So you will get extra signatures on your IPS and IDS. So day by day they are improving.
yeah, and I think that's how they're going to win a lot of enterprise customers over because a lot of enterprise customers are used to those kinds of features on their networks. They're used to getting
Yeah.
those signatures and stuff all the time. And from other vendors that have bigger firewalls and stuff, like that's the kind of stuff they expect from them. So that's going to make Ubiquity seem like an even better deal for them because
Yeah.
they have all these features now, or they're starting to offer more of these features.
I mean, right now I've seen most of them are coming to Ubiquity uh, by seeing these features. I mean, add on new features, because you don't need to rely on other, it's like licensings, or you have to
Hmm.
take the hardware cost. You don't need to purchase any licensing on that, like
Yeah.
to run these features. So that's a good thing from the start, like Ubiquity build a market on that.
Yeah, especially for enterprise customers, it's a really low starting price. Like you said, there's no license fees. The only cost is really just the hardware to run it. There's not many
Yeah.
monthly fees that you have to get into unless you want the cyber secure or if you want to do like Hostify hosting or something like that. That's really the only monthly fees that you'd have from an
I mean,
enterprise
that's
perspective.
also quite cheaper for the
Yeah,
enterprise network. If you pay $99, it's not very much high price
right.
for the enterprise network.
Exactly.
You can pay, I mean, companies can pay even more than for that. Even most of them have uh, like they are getting the paid support, like which is available in the US and the Mexico
Yep.
region. Like they have even running $999 per site, they are giving the paid support. So you can see the difference on that. Right now they where they are going by
Yeah.
these features and all.
Yep. I think the last gateway we haven't talked about is the Dream Router. I really like the Dream
Yeah.
Router. I've used it before. I bought it when it was in early access for $80. Now it's 200, but um, the Dream Router is really nice. I like the integrated PoE. I think it's got 40
Yes.
watts of PoE. A lot of people
Yeah.
that I know that use it really love it. They use it all the time.
I mean, yeah, it's look like a capsule shape, and you can just put it down on one place, and even it gives you good Wi-Fi signals also
Yep,
when you
the
put
Wi-Fi
on
is
the
really
place
good.
because yeah, Wi-Fi because it has bands. I mean, like the cylindrical shape. So if you check the radiation pattern of the antenna radiation pattern of those dream router, it's quite good. Like gives good Wi-Fi signal coverage.
Yeah, I think that's
Also the
another it's another good
yeah.
router for home users too. If they're just getting into the ecosystem, a Dream Router is a pretty cheap way to get into the Ubiquiti ecosystem. You can do Unified Network. I believe you can do
And
Protect. I don't know about
yeah,
Access. Um,
I think yeah, you can do all the stuffs, but it's a depend. Like if you want to use all the stuffs, then I won't recommend it. You can just
yeah,
get it for the Unify network. I even not for the Unify Protect. It's fine when you have just single camera,
yeah.
then you can run it. Otherwise, I won't recommend that.
I think it only has a dual core processor, if I
Yeah,
remember
dual core.
correctly. So it's not super
Yeah,
fast, but it can do a little bit of stuff, and it's a easy way to enter into the Ubiquiti ecosystem.
yeah. And they have when they started this, they have a base UDM. It's like same as a UDR, but it does not have those screen on the at the front. The
Gotcha.
base UDM. When they started with the UDM Pro, they have the base UDM.
And then the UDM does not have built-in. It does have built-in Wi-Fi, but it's only Wi-Fi 5, right?
Yeah, it's a
Yeah,
Wi-Fi 5. It does not have any PoE on that on the
no PoE.
ports. The back, yeah,
And can it do Unify Protect?
no,
No. Yeah.
just Unify network.
Yep.
That's why they announced the UDR, which will run Unify product. So
Yep.
everyone got a UDR during that time.
Back when they had their early access store, still miss that.
Yes. I think
Well,
the Unify gateway has came a long way. It was
yeah.
previously they have just two gateways, and still public. Most of the customers are using the USD and the USD Pro 4, and now everyone is migrating from that router to the either UXD Max or the UXG Pro
Hmm.
because it came a long way from that router because it it was a lots of issues on that. You when you run the IPS and IDS, your throughput will drop down around like 50%. Like if you have a 1 GB GBps plan,
Yep.
and when you run IPS and IDS, it dropped down to like 500 Mbps. So that's a
Yep.
quite I mean reduce in the throughputs of those gateways. That's why in the given time they have improved those features like with the UDM Pro,
Yeah.
UXG Pro.
I mean, even with the improvement, like you're saying, like I've even noticed it with the software updates. They're a lot more reliable now. Every update, like I really don't have many bugs on them anymore, like I used to.
Yes.
Everything pretty much just works. I mean, it's pretty straightforward.
I mean, if you say the community is now strong very and they are very vocal now
Yeah.
and they listen to the customer issues. So basically, if you check the security team is also quite good, very responsive. If you check the
Yep.
Twitter and
Yeah.
X page, it's very responsive. I think it's a Marcus like under Linux.
Yeah. I
His
follow
name
him.
is under Linux Marcus. Yeah,
Yep.
it's very good. It's very responsive. When you get any some issues, you can just ping him. And
Yep.
now they have, I mean, they have bug bounty features from start only. I think you can report any bug on that and they will fix that. And now they release the security bulletin also when they have any bug fixes or security advisory they put on the community.
Yeah, that's really nice. And I think listening to the customers is really important too, because I mean, even I've seen it too. Like I've been working with Unify support for like a month now on their Pro AV feature, and it's not working just right yet, but they're listening to what I'm saying. They're sending me things to try to fix it. They're really working towards a better experience for everybody.
Yeah. So
And
the
it's really
Pro
nice.
AV, I mean, I mean, what the third party client you are using? Is it on the Dante
Yeah,
or?
I'm using Dante and QSys, but the problem is they don't seem to work well together, and the device that I'm using is a QSys core that supports Dante and QSys. So trying to do that both on the same port kind of gets a little confusing. But QSys recommends you do it both on the same port, but then UniFi wants to separate it into two.
Just
So
once.
like,
Yeah.
yeah,
You you in Unify on that single port, you can either set Dante or the QSS.
yes,
You can't set separate. I mean, both at the same time.
right. So yeah, it's been interesting, but it's gotten a lot better. Like Dante's not having as many issues as it was before, because Ubiquity is helping me, and so is QSys. They're all kind of working together. It seems like to try to get this figured out, which is really cool.
Yeah. I think have you tried the ACL features on the Unify switch? ACL accessories.
Um, no, I have not tried them.
I mean, you should try it once. That's a good features in the. I mean, this for the security purpose.
Yeah, I've seen them appear in the settings, but I have not actually tried them yet. Do those
Yeah.
require a layer 3 switch?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I have not tried them yet, but that's the thing. There's
Oh,
always new features to try, which is nice.
yeah. The
Always
best
something new.
thing I like about this UniFi Express is like you can set up it on a LAN and as an existing system, or you can set up as a mesh system.
Yep,
Like when I plug it on the network and on my Hostify it detected, so I can just click and adopt from here. Yeah, so
nice.
that's a good features. Like
Yeah,
all these device has a Bluetooth in it, so that's a good thing. Like
for the
it
mobile
has
app
Bluetooth.
setup.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, I think that's about all, unless you
Yeah,
have
I
anything
think
else.
we have covered all the gateways on this.
We have.
Yeah, I think we got someone on the chat.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah. What do you think about the next, live session? What topic
Uh,
we should?
we could do switches. There's,
Yeah, that's a quite good thing. Yeah, we should go with the gateways and then switches and then
yeah,
access point,
yeah,
and that we can cover. And after that, we should try access point.
yeah. Okay. Yeah, I think switches are good when there's a lot of switches that some people might not know what they're
I
specifically
mean,
best used for,
there are
but
lots of switches like they have I think they have defined the layers, the edge core
yeah,
switches, edge, yeah, and the access switches. So that's a quite confusion right now. Which switches you should get?
yeah.
What is your power budget? And we should get into the accessories also and the
Mm-hmm.
PDUs in the power stuffs also.
Yeah, yeah. There's like the flex utility box and stuff that you can mount the switches in
And
outside.
yeah, and someone recommend like Unify camera. We should talk about it,
Yeah,
Unify camera. I think
yep.
the Unify Protect and the Unify camera. It's a
Lots of
good topic.
cameras.
Yeah, lots of cameras. And recently they have launched the LPR, license plate recognition. It's quite beefy camera.
Yeah, have you tried it?
No, it's not available in India.
Oh, that's right.
I mean, the last camera which I get in India is the G5 turret and the G5 flex and the AI 360. That's the
Wow.
last camera I can get in India from the Ubiquiti India. So if I use any offshore website,
Hmm.
I can get all those cameras, but I have to pay extra for it, like the custom duty and the taxes
Yeah,
for it.
yeah. I really want to try the license plate reader. I just haven't had a use for it. It's interesting that it's the same price as the AI Pro camera, and they seem to have
Yeah,
similar features.
I mean the AI Pro camera has a periscope and like they have a optical lens on that. You can like zoom it
Yeah,
like
you can.
2x and 3x. I'm not sure about the LPR, but I've heard about the AIP and I've checked the AI Pro has that features only.
The LPR
The
does
zooming
too.
feature.
The zooming. Yeah.
Yeah, LPR also has.
Yes. Yep. So you can also do the 3 times optical zoom on the LPR,
Yeah,
which is nice
I
because
think
it
that's
doesn't
why.
lose quality when you zoom in.
Yes,
I like
yes.
that.
The thing is, it's a 4K camera, I think.
Yep,
Also, we will talk about the UniFi access, the integration of the UniFi access with the UniFi Protect, how
protect.
you can
Yeah,
integrate. Yeah, that's a good topic we should discuss. I mean, there are lots of customers use that and they does not know because I have set up on my door. I have set up one camera and when it detect the motion, it opens the door and I'm using UniFi Access Ultra on my door.
nice.
So like I get lots of comments like how because I use a clickbait title on the YouTube that uh, how to open a door with your face on a
Ah,
UniFi camera. So that's a kind of clickbait, but it does not work with the face. It works with your motion, but it works with the face when you have the face detection cameras like the
right.
pro cameras and the AI turret cameras, AI
Mm-hmm.
cameras, which
AI
has face.
cams.
In that, you can use that face features. It will detect your face, scan your face, the known faces, and it will trigger the lock and the door will be
Yeah.
open. So I think we should next week we should go with the
Yeah.
Unify switch, and then we
Yep.
should carry on the Unify access point and the cameras and accessories.
Yep. I can do next week. That works.
Yeah, yeah. I'm thinking I should simultaneously I should go live on my channel
Yeah,
also.
you should. Which I think you can probably just stream the Zoom call then, and then I can stream it the way I've been doing it, and then you can do it as well at the same time.
Yeah, I
Think. Yep.
both we can do the Zoom call at the same time.
Yep.
Like I mean, I in with the Streamlab, I can just put those screen,
Yeah.
the screen which you are talking, the Zoom screen. It will be one thing. I think how both of God meet, unify camera. There's some questions.
Not sure.
I think he is saying the unify camera we should do on the unify camera.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's about
All
all I have
right.
for today.
Yeah, I think that's almost time like 3 minutes.
Yep. Almost there.
Yeah, almost there. And I like the Unify product on the Apple TV. Right now, I'm just using on my,
And
and
you said
it's
that's
I can
the same latency as a viewport, right?
yeah.
So it's
And
not.
I've seen some issues on the viewport, like the third-party cameras. Uh, it's stuck on devices is connecting. It does not give the better camera view on the viewport when you use a viewport on the third-party
Interesting.
camera.
Okay.
Yeah, I've been one of my customer has been facing those issues. So I told if you have an Apple TV, you can use a run the Unify product on that Apple TV, and you will
Yep.
get all those features in that Apple TV, and you can control it with the this key. I mean the this Apple TV remote.
Yeah. Now, the price difference between the Apple TV and the viewport, isn't the Apple TV cheaper than a viewport?
Yeah, I think it's cheaper.
I'm trying to find it right now. I can't find it.
The
NVRC.
viewport is $199.
Yep, Apple TV is 129. So it's a lot cheaper for an Apple TV than a viewport.
And even they are adding lots of features on the Unify Protect app on the Apple TV. I'm not sure they are doing on any other stuff. Previously, I was using the Unify product on I think Amazon Fire Stick, and it
Mm,
was mess
really?
because it was hard getting any update on that, and the motion was quite late. Like if I'm picking this phone from the desk and I check the camera motion, it was a delay like 5 to 10 second delay.
Oh,
I think
wow.
yeah,
That's a pretty big delay.
yeah.
You also don't
All
get the
right.
PoE power on the Apple TV.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, I'm using Ethernet. I have a Ethernet as well as the Wi-Fi
Yep.
Apple TV. So I'm just connected my Flex Mini switch to the Apple TV,
Nice.
and it is giving the 1 gig connection. So yeah,
Cool.
Yeah, I can show you if I show like I you can check this. I mean, you can see your screen.
Yep. Oh, nice.
Yeah. Yeah, you can see like let me do it. You can see the screen.
Yeah, you can see all of them.
Yeah. All of them together and you can zoom it.
I'm trying to make your view bigger, but I don't know how.
Yeah, I think it does not have. Okay.
There we go. Yeah.
Yeah. All right
All right.
then. Should catch next week with the UniFi
Yeah.
switch. I think we should arrange the list of the switches on the desk and we can check side by side.
Show and
Right
tell.
now, I'm
Yeah.
just have two gateways.
Yep.
All
All right.
right. See you next week.
See you next week.
Thanks. Bye.
Yep. Bye.
Bye.
Well, thank you guys for watching the stream. Week 2 of streaming. Not in a row, but I guess the second time streaming here. Thanks again to Safwan for streaming with me. And I will see you all, guys, all of you. I'll see you all next week on our continued stream. So thank you all for watching. Have a great day, and I will see you all in the next video.